Hello everyone, and welcome to my first real start to uploading consistently on the channel. I have a few videos planned out for the coming weeks, and I plan on releasing one video a week starting now for this week when this video is being released, which hopefully I'm planning on releasing it the Friday of this week, so the 6th. I also plan on uploading a podcast starting this week as well, which should be up before this video. I plan on consistently uploading that podcast as well for the coming weeks, at least while I have time before school starts again for me. So enjoy these uploads. If you guys do, then leave a like, subscribe, wherever the hell you do. Thank you, and enjoy the video. So with my last video being uploaded, I realized I have another great concept, and this video has been in the works for months, actually. I have gone through many iterations until I've come up with this final product, which is not what I would like, but the video I had in mind when I first began working on this project was too ambitious and way out of my comfort zone in terms of material and out of my knowledge. So I was way too ambitious, and so I've had to scale it back quite a lot. So this video will be about the 2020 election, which informed us of a lot of different political and population trends throughout the United States. And when we take these into account, along with policy, we can get a broad idea of the country. So if we look at the voter suppression currently going on the right, and the complete failure of the Democrats to push the For the People Act through, we can get a big, broad trend throughout the country when looking at all three of these ideas as a whole. So taking all of this into account and some hard data, some facts, I want to develop throughout this video a sort of political outlook throughout the country and things to look for in the coming years coming up to the midterms. I could make a ton of videos just about Trump and his cult, but that's not fun, really. It's not helpful, and it's simply going off of things that the media likes to focus on, which I am personally in favor of. I think the media should focus on Trump while he is still an influence in the Republican Party, and I think we should never let what he did become normal. And people on the right say we focus on him too much, whatever. He is the leader of the party, he must be focused on. And I can really only damage my psyche so much by talking about Trump, so I'm going to keep that low and mainly focus on that for my podcast as I talk about recent news. There may be some videos talking about him here or there, but this video is not that. Trump has changed the entire landscape of the party, and it's interesting to look at that, to look at the trends caused by that. Those who don't support him and his idea that the election was stolen from him aren't allowed in that party. They are ousting all of those who don't fall in line. It is a complete destruction of the party we used to know. That's all it is. They are ousting those who don't fall in line and destroying what the party used to be. To fix this situation requires a massive reform of a broken system, and we must regulate the sources of disinformation, misinformation, and all of those that are currently plaguing the far right and the right as a whole. We have to revolutionize the education system as well to help combat this. It's a broad issue that I talked about in my last video, but I wanted to get at the start of this video as well, because it's so important. And it's the backbone of what we must do to help this country. We must stop that party, the party of Trump, from taking over the election system and continuing to cheat their way into power. This requires passing, at bare minimum, the For the People Act. We must also make DC a state so they have representation. We must do so much more, and I plan on making a podcast episode solely about this. But I just wanted to get this over, because this is so important, and it also leads me into my next topic for the video, voter suppression, which has been used to change the electoral map. And that's kind of the point of this first section, if you couldn't tell already. Let me add, before I dive into this subject, that there is an initiative to get rid of the Electoral College in a way. This is so important to help deal with the current trends of the Republican Party itself, solely Republican Party. We all know of the bills being passed in bad faith in Republican states around the country. These laws are simply meant to restrict voting. That's it. They are based off of a lie and are meant to entrench their political power in any way necessary. If we are unable to deal with these laws, then nothing else I discuss in this video matters in the slightest. All of the data in regard to political and population trends is public info, hence the need for Republicans to pass these bills. They know very well that when people vote, Republicans lose. Trump said this himself. So instead of revolutionizing their fake populist party, they instead will just stop you from voting. I simply cannot express in this short segment and on my shitty YouTube channel how important it is to stop these bills from gaining traction. I live in Iowa. We in Iowa, a state that doesn't matter, passed a voter suppression bill. Because of course we did. We can count the amount of fraud that's happened in this state on our hands. That's how little there has been. They are basic infringements on our right to vote. Now we can then discuss voter IDs some other time. These bills aren't about voter IDs. They are lies made to hurt voter turnout. None of these bills are about voter ID. That is simply a lie by the Republicans. By the way, speaking of voter IDs, in the state of Texas, you can use a hunting license to vote. Not a state-issued student ID, though. This is all you need to know about voter IDs to know it's a political tool used to hurt voters. That's as simple as that. At this point in time, at least. So the moral of the story here is we must pass the For the People Act and stop voter suppression around the country. Doing so will help consolidate Democratic power and the state Dems gain control. We must allow this to happen because that is what the people are voting for. The people are voting in favor of Democrats, but Republicans are restricting it and stopping that from happening. We simply need to allow people to vote. Nothing else that I say in this video matters if people can't vote. I hope that doesn't seem like out there for this video, but my entire point for that first section, or 2 sections, is none of this video matters if we can't do those basic voting bill, I guess, passage out, whatever you want to call it. Okay, so going on to the main section of the video, the population trends in the US are an important thing to look at to help inform us of political power throughout the country. All of this is sadly hard to take into account because of our past president worked so hard to damage the census and hurt Dems around the country. Sorry, but that's just fact. For this video, we're in reality, so we will not be discussing a fake stolen election. I'm sorry. Biden gained the Midwestern states Wisconsin and Michigan as well as Pennsylvania. This isn't a for sure consolidation of power, however, we now know that Dems are able to win those states. It's not a simple trend to the right, pretty much. We know that the Dems have shifted out of the Midwest more towards the coastal cities as people move to the coast, away from the center of the country. I would like to remind people that Iowa is still a swing state. Democrats just simply can't fathom attempting to appeal to farmers. And besides that, it's also a sad reality that farmers have been convinced to vote against themselves. And it's a rather sad fact in this country. They seem to favor entrenching the power of the companies that own them. And until Dems go all out and attempt to gain their vote, they won't see any solid trends in the state of Iowa, or really in the Midwest at all, for any swing states. I think the next election will show us just how the Midwestern swing states are in play. I think the last election was sort of out there as a whole. I think it's not a trend and more of a symptom or a symbol of what could occur, I guess you could say. So I think we must look at the midterms in the next presidential election to get a better idea. And I don't think it's really shifting one way or the other. I think it's just a swing state, and I think that's what we should treat those states as. But the states we should really look at, I think, are the states of Georgia, Arizona, Florida, and Texas. Georgia was a state that, upon flipping, really hit me personally as a big trend. Georgia is now in play for Democrats. That's big, and it's all thanks to Stacey Abrams. Now the question is, will the Republicans completely do a disgusting power grab in the state and move it towards just complete authoritarianism? Who knows? To start of the video, discuss how we deal with that. Now, to get away from that voter suppression, if we simply look at the special elections that played out there, we see that we can win there. We can win. It's possible. It's not simply a one-time event. It can happen. Now, whether that's going to be a trend, who knows? Arizona also seems to be shifting a little bit to the left, but it's very much still in play, so who knows? Florida, on the other hand, I think is no longer in play. I think it is just too far to the right at this point in time. And until trends tell us otherwise, I think it's out of play. Texas, though, I think is in play. I think if Democrats can go all out in the state and actually move hard on the ground and set up some infrastructure there, we might actually be able to continue that trend leftward as we continue gaining more power. We might actually be able to win the state, and then once Democrats win Texas, you win. I mean, that's just how it goes. Which, by then, no doubt, the Republicans will probably be scared and probably want to get rid of the Electoral College because they'll never be able to win. Maybe. Who knows? That's simply my personal thoughts. Now, it will take a lot of work. We have to first deal with these voter suppression bills and then damage the on-the-ground Republicans and make them look like the fools they are. On the macro scale, it seems Democratic power is shifting from the Midwest and the Northeast to the coast as people continue to move there, which is actually pretty funny because scientists recommend the opposite, but I digress. And I think that is the end of this section, and hopefully it got the basic bare bones idea of political trends as people move from the Midwest to the coast, and the coast sort of gets more in play than usual. Some place in the South, that Sun Belt area. I hope you all enjoyed the video. This video alone has been something I wanted to work on for a couple months, like I said, and I think the final product is not what I first envisioned. Sadly, I cannot make the video I first had in mind because it was too far on the statistics and some of the city planning side, and was based off of a course I took over the winter break. And so it was way more in depth and no one would have cared. It was an idea I had that just would not pan out. So it is dead and is gone, and this video will replace it. This video is nothing like that original script, but I hope, taking into account everything that's happened over the past while, it's good, I guess, hopefully. I don't know. I didn't want to focus so much on voter suppression in this video, but I realized literally this video doesn't matter if we don't discuss it. So, look forward to a future podcast episode where I will simply be looking at voter suppression, the For the People Act, all of that in a single podcast episode, I think next week of when this video is uploaded, but we'll see. So just ignore that. This video and this idea presented is very important among sociologists, and I myself am going for a minor in sociology. Well, sustainability, which is sociology, whatever. And it's very important for all of us to look at sociology, and I think if all of us in the country could take a scholastic view at it, we could learn so much about this country and make it so much better. But they won't, because sociology isn't fun for a lot of people, and I understand that. But I recommend all of you out there check out the buttloads of articles and papers discussing this topic, specifically political trends in the United States, in depth. I myself had read them for my course, and I've looked at them for other courses as well, and I think they're very interesting and very helpful. So hopefully you guys will enjoy that. I might link some down below, and we'll see if I get around to that. Who knows? Now to end my video, I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you guys enjoy all my videos coming up. If you do, tell me in the comments. Thank you. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.